let's continue working on our meetup management system. And I think the next one that we can work on is edit and delete meetups. And then after that, we'll be working on browse and discover meetups. We have a basic version of this, but we will be implementing searching, filtering functionalities. But first of all, let's try to work on this slice, which is add and delete meetup. And this would be something that is very similar for the create meetup slice. So we're going to reuse some of the elements there. So in order to do that, we will need to extract out the added form element because this is the part that we will reuse. But first of all, what I want to do is, part that I want to make some changes is that, you see these elements are basically squeezed and I want some spacing between each one, and also the title, I want them to be in bold. So let's make those changes. So in order to make those changes, let's go to www root folder and go to app CSS. We want to make some CSS changes. Well, because of the AI functionality that came with latest update, I want to just write some comments and see whether Visual Studio can just generate the code for me. So I'm going to say add spacing between each form group. And then I'm going to come over here and wait. Yeah, I think that will work, right? This is not going to override all of the functionality. It's going to just override the margin bottom if there's already a definition in the form group from Bootstrap. So now I want to add the next one, which is make the form group labeled bold. And then, yeah, this is also going to work. So let's run let's run again and see whether this, yeah, you see, this is much better. This looks much better than before. This looks proper. All right, now we can continue with our main work. So let's go to the create event slice over here. We need to extract out this edit form component, this entire component. And we need to make some plan because you see, we have this create event, but later when this is reused, it needs to be triggered for both create and update. And because of that, I think we can just use a event callback. I think that will work. So let me collapse this, and then I'm just going to copy this whole thing. And then I'm going to go to the shared folder under components over here. I'm going to create a new Razor component. And I'm going to call it add and update event component. So let's paste all of this code here. I see a problem right away. I see this error message component. It shouldn't be actually inside the added form. Let's extract it out. And let's take out this as well. And then let's go back to our create event. Here, what I want to first of all to do is to actually remove this. I want to test it actually. So I'm going to remove this. And then I'm going to paste it right here, perhaps with a, well, I think the reason why we put it here is that we wanted to have this create and cancel. We want this error message to show above the create and cancel. So because of that, we can't just move it down here because otherwise the error message won't be visible in some cases. So for that reason, we're going to have to create a render fragment to act less like a placeholder. So let's go inside the add update event component over here, and we need to create a render fragment. But before we do that, we need to get rid of these red squiggly line, and that's mostly because of this event view model here. And I'm going to just say save here. So this is going to be a save method. So here we have the view model, and we're going to declare that view model. So we're going to actually, let's just go inside, go back to the create view model, create event. And then, so because of this, we are going to just declare a parameter. So we're going to have the view model to be passed in as a parameter. So I'm going to say event view model, and then this is going to be just event view model. Okay, and we're going to replace all of this with event view. Okay. We had a lot of replacement. We're going to add a question mark over here. Now we have a few squeaky lines here. So this needs to be dependency injected, which we can take from here. Do I need this anymore? Yeah, we need this one. So actually, let's, we still need the create event service inside the create event component here, but this is inside the shared folder. I think we can still just inject the create event service from there, right, and do a space import. You can see that with vertical slice architecture, we'll constantly run into this, right? So we have a shared component here, but then we're using a service that is specific for create event service. It just doesn't feel correct for me. So the proper way to do that, of course, is to extract this method out, right? Because the method that we need to use is the get categories method. Right? Where is it here? Right? Get categories method. So we can extract it out, and I feel like that would be the correct way to do it. But then where do we need to, like in which file we need to declare this get categories method? I really don't have a definite answer for that. And for the time being, we can create something like a helper class, and maybe we can call it shared helper or just call it helper. Let's go ahead and create that. I really want to put it in the shared class instead of using a service inside a particular slice. Probably call it shared helper for now. And then later, when we go deeper into the project, we might refactor the code. So let's create a shared helper. And then let's go inside the create event service here. Go to the bottom, cut this out, and we don't need it anymore. Do we need to delete some namespace here? There is. Okay, so we can do a control dot and remove the unnecessary namespaces. Now let's go back, and we have this one here, and then what we need to do is go to program.cs and we dependency inject the shared helper. Go to the top, add the shared helper right here. All right, now let's go back to the components here. Add update event component, and we can't use this. We're going to come down here and do a control dot again to import the correct namespace. Why is it still using create event? That's very weird. Oh, that's because we're using this. Okay, so we're going to change this to shared helper and then go to the top, remove this. We don't need it. Okay, so for the save thing, let's go down and let's create a method. So there's still this rescue line here. An object is required for non-static field. Okay, shared helper is having a problem because we need to dependency inject the shared helper. Okay, so this got rid of the rescue line. So what is the problem with this one? So we have this event view model. Let's go to the top. Make sure that the event view model is not now. Okay, and only when it's not now do we actually render these element. Okay, so it might be because of this. Let's go to the create event view, create event component over here. Go down and let's cut this information, cut this method and put it inside the component. Okay, now we have this problem with the error message. We need to resolve this problem as well. We can, one of the solution is to create another parameter and then pass the error message from outside. All right, and then this is the event view model. Let's say this dot event view model, and of course we need to make sure that this dot event view model is not now. So what we know that when we're here it's not now, but the code doesn't, the code still generates the green squiggly line. So I don't care about that squiggly line because I already validated here. Oh no, if it's null, then we return. Okay, good. That red squiggly line is good. All right, so come over here, replace that, and then not the error message. It's the event view model. And then this error message is going to be cleared, and then this error message needs to be replaced. And I think we missed one here. So this is event view model cover image. All right, so mutate. I think this is missing a namespace. So import a namespace. Okay, for now, I think we're good here. Remember the error message thing that we removed. What I think right now is that I think we need to add it back, but not as the error message component. Instead, we need to create a render fragment to act as a placeholder. So let's go to the bottom here, and I'm going to create a parameter here, and then this is going to be a render fragment like this, and we can have a error message fragment. Now let's copy this in clipboard and then go up here. I think this is the place, and we can say if the fragment is not null, then we can have the fragment rendered right here. Okay, finally, I think we need to work on the save method, right? We have defined it as an empty one, but we need to have another parameter to work as a event callback, and what needs to be returned is basically just a event view model like this, and then we can say onSaved. Then over here we can change this to be a async method. We don't have to, but we can. So here we can say onSaved, and then we can invoke async, and we can pass in this dot event view model like this with a await keyword. And I think we're good. We're ready to test it. Let's go back to the create event component over here, and let's go up and collapse this again, and then let's replace this. So over here we'll have our add and update event component, and we need to fill up all of the parameters, and it's generated. Okay, so this, of course, we cannot use it like this. It didn't generate properly for me. Unsaved equals create event. That's correct. And the closing element is this. Then in between, let's put the error message component. So this is where we have our error message fragment. And then we paste this one over here, and it is closed. Oh, it's not closed. We need to close it. Now we can highlight it and do a Ctrl-KF to format it. All right. I think we have a few more parameters to fill up. So what other parameters do we have? We have event view mode, error message, this. So I think we're missing error message, right? Let's go back. So error message. I'm going to say, why error message is not showing up here? Is it because I didn't? Yeah, we have error message right here. I don't know why it's not. Yeah, it's even have color coding, so I don't know why, but this should work. Right, remember to use the @ sign right here. This one, you don't have to use @ sign because it knows that this is the event view model. But this one is a string, so you do need to remember to use this. And same thing as this. So let's see whether this works well or not. Let's run the application and give it a try. All right, let's click on the Create Meetup button, and we do see, so the visually everything looks the same as before. Let's go ahead and try to create something. So let's say this is Meetup, I don't know, maybe 20. And then have some descriptions. I'm going to say descriptions of Meetup number 20. And then I'm going to change this to tomorrow, this one to tomorrow, and this to 3, and this one to 4. Okay, and capacity, I'm going to say 30. And category, I'm going to say in person. And if I don't select anything, I don't input anything and click on this, first of all, it's trying to check the image. So let's go to my courses because these images are big. Let's go to my courses folder, and I know this multi-threading thing is smaller. No, this is not good. I don't know which one is okay, but let me try. Okay, so this image is good. And if I do this, then it's going to generate this message, location. So this is basically the render fragment. You can see this is above these two buttons. So basically the render fragment work. If we go on the top, it also works, right? Another thing, well, I need to remember that for the validation summaries, which is going to show somewhere here, right? If there is any. So let's say that if we remove this, right, and then click on this, and let's say this message over here, but if we down here and click on it, we don't know what is happening, right? If we enter some address here, right? So if we do this, oh, we're not cleaning this. Okay, so this is another issue that we need to fix. Okay, so you can see this message is right here, but it's supposed to be showed right on the bottom as well. So let's go ahead and try to fix those problems. Let's go inside over here. So first of all, I'm going to have the validation summary show up at the bottom, just above the create and cancel buttons. And for validation purposes, if there's no error, we need to clear. So we can go back to this component here. So we're validating, right? So let's go inside. So this is the create event service. So we're validating a lot of things, and right, so it's going to return empty if the validation works. So here, if it's null, right? If it's null, it's going to just go ahead. If it's null or empty, it's going to just go ahead and save the event, right, and then navigate back. So this is the place where we need to actually go ahead and clear the message. Wait, the message should already been cleared. Oh, I see. It's because this is not triggered when there's a validation error. There's an annotation validation error. Okay, so that's an issue. Let's go inside to the component. We have this onValid submit. Let's see, we have some other invalid submit. So we can use this invalid submit to clear the message and say this dot error message string dot empty. Let's see whether this will fix the problem. Let's run the application again. All right, let's create a new one. So let's leave this title as empty, and then I'm going to just redo everything as before, right? And this one is 3, this one is 4, and then here is 10, and this one we can use online, and we can enter, no, let's use in person, and I'm going to have just a random address in Toronto right here, in my city, and Canada. Now if I select a image right here and click on the create button. So yeah, let's create a similar use case. So I'm going to have the title, but without the address. And then I have a custom validation error message component showing up at the bottom and on the top. But at this moment, if I just clear this and then click on this, it says the title field is required, but this is not cleared because we didn't enter. But if I do enter something, I guess it's still not going to clear it. Yeah, because this is showing up first. But why, when I have this, why this is not being run? So let's set a breakpoint and see whether this is executed or not. So you see, I highlight this, and then I press F9. Then I have a breakpoint right here. So I'm going to run this. So this is a Blazor server. So we are able to debug just like any other applications like MVC or Razor pages. Those are running on the server side. So let's go ahead and create the same scenario. Okay, click on create. We have this, and then if I delete this title and then click on create, I do see this one, but this is not being triggered. I think this is just this is not going to be triggered because the client validation is being used and it's never going to come back over here. You know, by looking at this, it's not that bad, right? This is not clear. That's fine, because the reason is this: the title field is required. Right? In the moment I enter this, and then I click on it, it's still here because I didn't enter anything, right? And then if I do enter something, then I am good. Let's continue with this. So we don't have to be so fixated on this problem. I think we're okay with this because we're also displaying the validation summary right here. So click on the create button, and then we do have our Meetup 20 displayed right here. So that means the extracting out the component is actually working, and then we can continue working on making the editing component, right? Let's stop debugging and let's work on the editing slice. So we have, go to this features folder. Let's close everything, open it up, open features, and then we have create event, view event. So we're gonna have, do we call it update event or do we call it something else? So edit and delete meetups, right? So maybe let's call it edit event. And we're gonna have our edit event component. So let's go ahead and create a Blazor component. So this is called edit event component. So what do we call it? Create event? Do we just call it create event over here? If that's the case, I'm gonna just call it edit event on this page. And because it's a page component, so we'll have to have our page directive. And this will go /event/edit. It's generated this for me. I think it's okay. We can use this. And then we can go to create event over here. And we can just copy this and paste it over here. And then let's also go into here. We're also going to have our error message. Hey, I think we have both of these variables. And let's paste it over here. This one, we're not going to create a new. And this is update event. So for now, I'm going to just quickly create an empty update event method. And then I can have a question mark over here. Now I'm going to say if this is not now, then we're going to render the component. Otherwise, we're not doing nothing. Okay. And now it's time to initialize the event view model. Right? We need to load it from the database. So I'm going to override the on after render. Right? We talked about this before. So instead of overriding the synchronous version, I'm going to override the asynchronous version. Okay. And then if first render, so if this is true, this is when we want to load it. And after that, we're going to do a state as changed. And I'm going to go over here and create a class. And this is edit event service. Now let's go back to the component. Let's make the AI do some work. I'm going to say use the edit event service to get the event details. It knows what I want to do, right? Based on the event ID. So we do have this one created here, but we don't have the corresponding event ID created. So we need to have that created. So this is integer, and then we have our event ID created like this, which corresponds to the event ID right here. So use the edit event service to get the event details based on the event ID, and I think that's good. And let's see whether it generates code for me or not. Oh, it generated a comment. So let's do this. Oh, it doesn't generate the code. I need to give it a new prompt. I'm gonna start generating code for me. Okay, it did. I got event by ID async. That's pretty good. All right, let's remove this and put async right here. Now we probably don't need this because the method name is pretty obvious. We don't need the comment, right? So we're gonna implement this. I want to do a control dot, which doesn't do anything. Let's go inside here and just work on this. So of course we do have this constructor, and then you can see that it generated this for me. Right? It's probably just heard what I was saying. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Okay, we can come back over here. We need to initialize the context factory, and then we also need the mapper, right? So I'm gonna say I mapper. So this include I don't need it because it's not really linking to another entity. So I'm going to delete this, and we're using first or default, right, to get the, so this is not ID, this is event ID. So getting the event ID, getting the event based on event ID. Event entity, if it's null, then it's null. I don't know why it's, look, what's the problem with this? Okay, let's don't worry about the green CV line. I'm going to do a control dot to import namespace for the event view model. And I don't think we need to throw exception. We're just not getting anything from the backend. Now we need to initialize the mapper. Okay, and now this is working as well. We're mapping from entity to event view model, and let's go to the program.cs to do the dependency injection right over here. Yep, it generated code for me. And then let's do a control dot, import namespace. Let's close this file, Now we need to go back to the added event component here. So get event by ID async. It's not there. Okay, so go to the top, inject. I think this is the reason. Do I need to do a control dot to import namespace, or is it called differently? I forgot the name. Let's go back over here. Yeah, it's called differently. Okay, let's change it to the correct name. And now this recipe line is gone. We do have this. And you see, if this is null, it's just not going to render anything. But if you do want to display some error messages, you can basically just display the error message right here, right? And you can use the error message component. And you can say error message is event not found, right? So that's good. So now what we need to do is we need to go to this slice where we can see the list of components, and then we should be able to link in order to edit the component, right? So what do we want to link? We definitely want to link on the image, which is event image right over here. So let's create an anchor element, and over here we're just going to say /event/edit/ this is where the event ID goes. So over here we can say @ created event dot event ID. Okay, and this is going to be, this is a Razor syntax, right? And this is called the implicit Razor syntax, and this is going to create a proper URL for me. And then I'm going to use this anchor element to wrap around this whole thing. So no matter where you click on inside this field here, you are going to be directed to this. Hopefully, that's my intention. Run the application again. Okay, it failed right here. It regenerated the screen. Okay, so you can see that we have this, right? And also, this is highlighted as well as to display it as a link, right? So for example, if I go to Meetup 20, I can click on the image to go to Meetup 20, or I can click on this. It doesn't really matter. So I can come over here, and then it says 404, not found. So /event/edit. Did we create it with the wrong URL right here? /event/edit. I suspect that this is the reason. So if we change to 13, right, and then hit enter, you can see that the added event is actually showing up right here. No problem at all. So what is actually indeed happening is because of, you see this is an integer, and then the way that I render the component here, I mean the URL here, is I added the curly braces. I was mixing up the reader syntax here. So I was thinking about string interpolation in C#. That's why I added the curly braces. So I was mixing up. So this is the correct format, and this should work. So let's run it again. So now let's go to the list, and now let's try to go to the number 6. Okay, now you can see that the redirection works. And if I do want to update it, I don't think we have implemented that yet, right? Let's go over here. So the update event is not implemented yet, right? Okay, it's not implemented. So we need to implement the update event, which will happen over here. So we're gonna have to say async. I believe it's gonna be a asynchronous method. Oh, it's already giving this. So update events, we accept a event view model. That's correct. And then we use the event ID to grab the event entity, and then we use the mapper to map from the view model to the entity, and then we save the changes. Yeah, that's exactly what I need to do. So what is happening here? This is all about the whether it's null or not null. I don't think this is a problem, so I don't worry about it. Let's go back to the component here, and then I'm going to say, first of all, this will be changed to task, and I'm going to say added event service dot. Did I validate it first? I need to go back here to take a look at this. So yeah, I did this validation thing. Let's go over here and review it. So we have these validations, and these validations is going to be repeated if I do it this way. See, when you have vertical slice architecture here, you constantly run into which code should go into which, right? Whereas if you have a clean architecture, like the onion architecture that I used to use, we don't run into this kind of problem all the time. So let's think about this. Validate event, or validating. I think we can extract this into the event view model. Okay, so see, we have separate ones. Why not have a centralized one? So this is going to be deleted. Okay, and then let's go into the definition of this, and we have a whole bunch of this validation thing, and now you can see that they are null reference. It's 0 reference right here, right? So indeed they can be private. I think what we can have is to have a validate method just like this, and then have this inside. So of course this one will not happen, and we're going to just replace this with nothing. So event view model, and replace this with event view model dot to nothing, and then replace. Okay, so we're basically calling those private method. Well, currently still public. Okay, that's good. And we're going to change all of this to private because we don't need them. And now I go over here. I can say that error message equals this. Yeah, but it's not validate event, it's validate. No, I'm not using that. I'm using this validate. Okay, and if there is error message, I'm going to just return back. Otherwise, I'm going to come over here and do my update. That's correct. I don't know why I always generate the last parenthesis, but yeah, there's something pretty weird. See, when this update event is clicked on, the event model will not be null, so I'm not worrying about this green screen line here. Okay, and now let's go to create event component. We need to fix this because the validate event, yeah, this doesn't need to be there. Go over to the service, And we don't need to have oh, it's already deleted. I forgot I deleted. So all we need is to use the event view model validate method. And that's it. So let's run it. Go back to the list. Let's take a look at Meetup 20. And actually, let's create another one because we also changed the create event, right? So let's create Meetup 21. And then this is going to be tomorrow. This is going to be 4. Well, we can leave it as 3, but I forgot. Okay, this is going to be 5. And capacity, let's leave it at 0. That's unlimited. And then let's have another image. Let's just use this image. This is my multithreading programming course image. Okay, so creating is okay. Let's go to edit. Let's change this to, instead of 21, let's change this to 10. Maybe 11. And then I'm just going to say Meetup 11 is good. And change this one to online and Meetup link. So when this is changed to online, there is a problem, which is we need to clear the location, right? I just realized that. Let's go to this component over here. And we have this input select at here. So when the category changes, if category equals in person, right, we need to do some clearing up thing. So we need to run a C# statement. So I'm going to say event view model dot location, no, not location, meetup link equals string dot empty. And if, so it doesn't like it. Why it doesn't like it? No, it's okay. Yeah, I think it's proper syntax. Because we have, you see, we have C# here, and then it's transition to HTML with the start of the Angular bracket, right? So here, we want to clean up location because we just selected online. Okay, so this is going to be okay. We can even have an extra line. Okay, so let's run it again. All right, 21, change 21 to number 11. And then number 11 is good. And let's change from in-person to online and change this one to this. So we're going to change, I think these changes are good. Let's, oh, this shouldn't be create. It should be update. Okay, this needs to be updated. And also the cover image, right? You don't need a cover image there when it's update. So that's another issue we need to fix. So first of all, this is a problem we need to fix, and then the cover image thing. But in order to actually test the save, we need to actually upload the image again. Now click on the create button. Is it happening? Nothing is happening. Is it because I didn't redirect? Let's go to create. At the end, I did redirect, right? And for edit, at the end, I didn't redirect, and that's the problem. Okay, but in order to check whether we are working properly, we can, well, to make it faster, we can connect to this one. So modify connection, type in the password, go over here and connect to the Meetups database, test connection, click on OK, and then we can query, you can create a new query. So I'm going to say select star from events, and then I'm going to just run the query. Okay, so what do we have? We have this one changed to Meetup 11, right? So this is all correct, and then the Meetup link is provided, the location is cleared, so everything is fine. So we do have still those two problems, right? This one and the image. So this should be called save, and then for create event, it can be called create. But how do I know? So let's go back to the add update event component over here. See, this event view model is passed in, but if it does have an event ID, it means, if the event ID is greater than 0, it means it's an existing event, right? And that's something we can use in order to to render create or save. So I'm going to delete this. I'm going to say, yeah, it's so hard to manually generate this code for me. Okay, so if it's 0, I don't like this. I wanted to use greater than 0 for update, and then otherwise. Okay, that's good. And another thing is the image thing. So cover image. The easiest way to fix this problem is to remove the required field for the view model and then just use custom validation. Yeah, I think we'll go with that approach. Let's go to the view model, which is in the shared folder right here. And then I'm going to go to the top. I'm going to remove this thing above, but we're going to scroll down and then I'm going to say validate image. Let's use AI. Validate cover image, generate please. I don't need this much. Okay, I'm going to take it. And then I'm going to say if it's null, then I'm going to return the cover image is required. Yeah, this is enough for me. And then I'm going to just return empty. Now I'm going to go over here at the bottom, not validate title, but validate cover image. And again, if it's not null, I'm going to just return. Okay, I think we're good. I think we fixed both of the problem. Oh, navigation manager problem. I'm going to go up, inject navigation manager. Okay, run it again. So we're looking at Meetup 11, and let's change it back to 21. And let's change this to in-person again. And now if I don't update the image, it should be fine. What cover image is required? Oh, it's because I forgot to apply the logic. So let's go to event view model, and this cover image should be based on whether the event ID. So it only needs it when the event ID is less or equal to 0, because this would be a new event. And then we would require a new image. Otherwise, it's not required. Okay, let's run it again. Okay, we have this. Let's update. Let's just change the category. Okay, and then click on the update button. Now it's updated. Let's go to Meetup 11 again. And you can see that the category is updated and the image is still the same. And it doesn't actually validate the image. Okay, so that's good. And we need to make sure that create still works. And we do have a create button right here. Let's just quickly create another one. Let's say this 22 and 4. This is 5. And this is, let's say 5. And then category is in person, Bloor Street. And multithreading course. Do I have any other courses? I have the SQL course. This used to be this image. I have changed the image, but doesn't really matter. Create works and edit also works. Right? Let's say this is a SQL event, SQL discussion, and click on update, and it's changed to SQL discussion. That's good. I think we're good at this point. We'll continue from the next video.